She is very polite, but we should have prepared her for married life more. Sorry about that.
Oh, please don't worry. She is very well-mannered. Must be the result of her good upbringing. Anyway, it is us who should be apologizing. Compared to Sophia, our son didn't do too well in school. We should have disciplined him better. I'm not sure how much use he will be as a husband. He has no common sense whatsoever.
Why? What is wrong with Ben? We brought him up well. He is well-mannered and has a good job. There is nothing wrong with him. Plus, look at how well our restaurant is doing. He was brought up comfortably with good education. That's for sure. It wasn't like we let him get away with everything.
Our in-laws come from inherited wealth and high education. Is she seriously trying to compare us with them? They are living better than us, there's no doubt about it. Ben was even too afraid to bring Sophia over to our house for years because he was so embarrassed of the wealth difference. I wish you would just be quiet and let me handle this. Honey, could you be quiet for a second? I was talking. Anyway, more importantly, you're always both welcome in our house. Anyone who is distant relatives of the royal family are always welcome in this house.
Yes, well, we tried our best to bring up Sophia the best we could. And by the looks of things, it worked out. As long as you, the parents, are good role models and show the child a good example, the child should follow the same direction. Children are smarter than you think. I like your humor, Frank, but we are hardly royal. My family just come from an English background.
Well, you must have brought her up very well for her to have graduated from Harvard University. What an achievement. You both definitely should be very proud. My son just about graduated high school and managed to get himself into our state's university. Then again, he isn't made up of royal genes. It's making me so excited to be a grandparent. Thankfully, they say the children get their brains from their mother. Who knows? Maybe my grandchild will also make it to Harvard. Hey Jane, I heard from Ben that you also graduated from a prestigious boarding school in England. Is that correct?
Yes, I did. But it's nothing special. It was so long ago now.
I've heard so much about it. I must say I'd love to visit England, so I am very intrigued.
I'm honored, but honestly, it's nothing to brag about. I'll have to tell you all about it another time.
Sophia definitely must take after you in the brain department.
Maybe. Who knows?
I'm proud that we can call her our daughter-in-law. Hopefully our grandchildren don't take after our son. Then we are in for some trouble.
Our son isn't that bad. He is doing well, has a good job, and earns decent money.
I told you to be quiet and let me do the talking. Anyway, you should be so proud. She is doing way better than anyone else. I really admire your humbleness. If she was my daughter, I would be bragging about it to everybody.
Seriously, it's nothing. It's just the expectations we have of our children in this household. I'm honestly flattered, but you don't have to praise us too much. We like to stay humble. Yes, okay, we get it. You're right. Children are the result of the rules of the household. Therefore, when two households combine, the children must also adapt to the other household's rules. Right? As they say, when in Rome, do as the Romans do.
What are you talking about?
What? Did I say anything wrong?
My brother and Jane were clearly having a conversation, and you suddenly interrupted. How rude of you! It's basic manners to wait until someone has finished talking before joining a conversation. Plus, what does this conversation have to do with Rome?
You are also interrupting, so don't speak to me like that. Where did you come from anyway? You're supposed to be in charge of the restaurant today.
I am working.
Then why are you standing here eavesdropping? Go and do some work. There's plenty to do.
Stop bossing me around. I'll do what I want. I just came over to see if I could get you all anything and to introduce myself. Would be rude for me not to.
We don't need you to check if we are okay. The other members of staff can do that. You just wanted to be nosy and couldn't resist coming over to say hi. Just stick to running the restaurant. Who knows what the staff are up to downstairs? Causing chaos, I bet. Stop making the family look unprofessional and get back to work.
Me making the family look unprofessional. Speak for yourself. I've only been here 2 minutes and I already have a headache.
You are the one acting unprofessional, butting in conversations and not giving people a chance to speak.
Can both of you just be quiet already? And you shouldn't be here anyway. This is supposed to be a parents-only meeting without the children. Oh, this is so embarrassing. They are both such children.
Anyway, I better get back to work. It was nice meeting you both.
Yes, see you soon.
I'm sure you will. Hope you both enjoy the rest of your meal. Try not to get too much of a headache.
We will. Thank you.
If you need anything, just call any of the waiters over. They will be happy to assist you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Excellent service.
You both can eat this, right? It's a little spicy.
Yes, we both love spicy food, actually. This place is really nice. Great service and food. Seems like you both have things running smoothly here.
Well, we've actually only been open for around 2 months, and we've already made exceeding profits. But Janet really knows what she is doing when it comes to running a restaurant. Some may say she's the best in town.
I told you to stop talking so much. You'll bore people.
Wow! Honey, try this steak. It really is delicious.
That doesn't look like steak to me. Do you both know what this is?
Why are you quizzing them? Just ask one of the waiters.
Yes, I'm no meat expert, so correct me if I'm wrong, but that looks like pork tenderloin to me.
Don't mind me a second. Let me just search something on my phone. Pork rib, you say?
No, pork tenderloin.
Ah, tenderloin. Here it is. Google says it is the most tender and leanest part of the pig.
Yes, in my opinion, it's the best part of a pig. Very delicious.
Of course you know exactly what it is. I expected nothing less from someone of prestigious education.
What has food got to do with being privately educated? You don't need to be smart to know that. Also, where are the condiments? Honey, call the waiter over. What kind of restaurant is she running? She even forgets to bring condiments for the food. I regret even complimenting her so much. Disgraceful.
I wonder, what condiments would complement this dish? Maybe a bit of mustard? Ah, look, there's some already on the table. A bit of lemon on the smoked salmon also wouldn't go amiss.
I'm sure the meat is already seasoned well enough. Mustard will be way too strong.
I'm sure you know what you're talking about when it comes to food, so I think I'll copy you. I must say, the mustard with the pork loin is amazing. Also, the hint of lemon really does help with the smoked salmon. I'm not really a huge fan of salmon myself, but the citrus helps with hiding the fishiness.
Yes, it really does help with the meat and fish flavors. I'm also not a big fish fan myself.
Who would have thought it? On top of it all, you're also a food connoisseur.
I'd like to thank all the cooking shows and my travel experience for that one. But honestly, I'm not that great.
I shouldn't pump Jane's ego up anymore, but I must admit she really does know her food. She is a great chef.
Yeah, then this all makes a lot of sense. Make sure to invite us over to your house for Thanksgiving next time. They do say, though, you are what you eat. No wonder your daughter is how she is. She was brought up with the best of the best. Food is so important. There's no better feeling than coming home to a nice home-cooked meal. Really cheers you up after a bad day. Well, not that I can say that from personal experience, but from what my friends tell me.
You have a great sense of humor. But yes, it is pretty great having a wife who enjoys her cooking.
Meanwhile, I'm coming home to a wife who doesn't even know the difference between beef and pork. Perhaps prisoners are getting fed better than me.
Honey! Oh, Janet, hello. I didn't know you were coming over.
Ah, Sophia, you're here too? Nice seeing you.
Yes, well, your sister mentioned she was sick, so I thought I would also drop by to make some lunch. Ugh! My whole body is aching!
What's happened? Have you gotten yourself into a mess while drinking again?
What, as in fighting? I haven't fought anyone. Why would you say that?
Yesterday, Frank mentioned you got into a situation with the people sitting on the table next to you in a restaurant. Yes, Sophia?
Nothing important. Just wanted to let you both know that food is ready. I was just letting you know, in case you were both hungry now and wanted to finish your discussion after lunch. You made food for me too? How kind of you. We won't be long.
Of course, there's plenty to go around. Feel free to stay for food if you would like.
What's on the menu today?
I thought I'd prepare chicken soup, since Anne isn't feeling that well.
Chicken soup? Sounds good to me. I haven't had that in a long time.
Great! Don't be too long, or it will get cold. I've set the table already.
I must say, Anne, your Sophia is very well-mannered.
Why? Because she made lunch. That's just expected of her, no?
Who taught her to make chicken soup for someone who's sick? Her parents really brought her up well.
Actually, I'll have you know, it was me who taught her that. The only practical thing she learned from her parents was to study well, not how to be a good housewife. That was all down to me.
Still, she must be smart if she can pick up stuff so fast. Also, you aren't the best teacher, are you now?
Excuse me! I made it clear to her from the start the rules and expectations of this household. If she wants to adapt, she needs to ask me questions and follow my rules. Even if she knows how to do something, she needs to ask me first, just in case I do it a different way. My way goes.
Okay. Well done, Anne. Great job. But is it such a crime to compliment Sophia? You are really turning out to be like the wicked stepmother.
Me? The wicked stepmother? Take that back.
Anyway, stop beating around the bush. What has happened? Why have you been fighting this time?
You said you heard, didn't you? Well, yesterday there was a young couple sat next to us in the restaurant. However, they couldn't seem to know how to control their children. Just letting them run around everywhere, disturbing other customers at their tables. They came up to our table a few times, screaming and shouting. How could I just sit still and let them disturb our meal? I had to say something to their parents. Let them know they need to teach their children some discipline.
Sounds annoying. But why again did you feel the need to drink that much alcohol?
Well, I was so annoyed that I ended up having a few more glasses of wine than usual.
Anne, I'm sorry, but I just can't watch you drink and get into troubled situations like this for the rest of your life. It is embarrassing to my brother and our family. How is Frank letting you get away with this? I thought he would be sick of your behavior by now.
Sick of my behavior? Oh, please. I'm no alcoholic.
He was telling everyone in the restaurant yesterday about it. I've heard him mention 2 or 3 times now about how sick he is of your behavior.
Did he mention it again today?
Yes, he also mentioned it today.
What else did he say? Was he really angry?
I don't know how angry he was. I think he was talking about Sophia and comparing how well-behaved she is compared to you.
What? Comparing me with her?
Not exactly. He just mentioned how he doesn't think you both deserve such a well-behaved daughter-in-law when you are behaving like this.
I guess time will tell. We must have good karma or something. But she isn't anything special.
The family someone is born into is very important. You need to be brought up properly, otherwise they end up speaking nonsense and getting themselves into trouble. Like you. That's why during the first ever parents-in-law meeting, I decided to interrupt.
Why are you bringing that up again? It's in the past.
They say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So I can see why your son is like he is. He grew up seeing his mom get away with such behavior.
My son is what? What's wrong with my son? So what if he is similar to me? Does that make him not good enough?
I'm just saying, it's a good thing your eldest son came out similar to Frank. At least there's hope for one of my nephews. And just look at the difference between your 2 sons. Ben wasn't at all prepared for marriage. No one taught him how to behave towards his in-laws. He really had nothing to offer. You should be ever grateful to Sophia for helping care for such a charity case. And you were not humble about him in the slightest, acting like he was the best of the best.
Well, I've very much been humbled now, so stop it.
Well, that was always going to come out at some point. Ben hadn't a clue what he was doing. One should always be humble when meeting their in-laws for the first time, especially when it comes to your son who has nothing going for him. No good comes from acting like your son is better than anybody else. You were just giving him unrealistic expectations to live up to. Ben would have looked way more attractive to his parents-in-law had you just been humble and complimented their daughter.
Okay, Janet, enough now. Anyway, aren't you supposed to be in charge of the restaurant today? Isn't it busy?
No, I've told you. The restaurant is closed for the day. Why? Who told you to close it? Do you not know your days of the week? It's a Monday. We always close on a Monday. Oh, you're right. Silly me. Then go rest in your own home. Why did you come here? Because after hearing Frank earlier, I thought I needed to check in on you and give you the heads up. This behavior needs to stop before someone gets hurt. Also, I heard that Sophia has started studying for her doctorate degree. Frank was so happy, running around telling everyone that there will be a doctorate in the family. That's old news. Don't you have anything else to talk about than my daughter-in-law? You're boring me. Who would have thought? Someone of such high education in our family. Well, actually, Frank has always been smart. But since my nephews get their academic ability from you, I never believed I'd be saying such words. Let's be honest. Ben just about graduated from university. It was lucky he even got accepted in the first place. All right, that's enough. You're annoying me now, so just go home. Eat up, honey. Shall I dish you some more pasta?
Don't worry about me. I can sort myself out. Just focus on enjoying your meal.
Sophia, dear. I know it is easier said than done, but try not to let it get you down too much.
I'll try not to. I just feel like I could have done more to help.
Of course you did enough. You were a great daughter to your father. He was very proud of you. It's normal to feel like that, but it was never your fault. I guess that's the negatives of being an only child. You take on all the burden. You're right, Dad. James worked so hard over the years to provide her with everything she's needed. That kind of dedication to work is bound to take a toll on your body. His body was bound to pay the price for it at some point. Yes, I agree. He must have worked so hard. What an awful situation.
Honey, try some of these mushrooms. They are delicious. They must have been cooked on a grill or something. The flavor is amazing. What are you doing? Quickly, try it before it goes cold.
Give me a second to finish what I'm eating. Stop being so pushy. Anyway, please try to not let it affect you too much. Since you are raising a little one, you need to stay headstrong. The more stressed you are, the more it will affect your bodily hormones. You don't want it affecting your ability to feed the newborn now, do you? I've heard stress affects the quality of a woman's breast milk, and that is bad for the child in the long run. So try to stay healthy.
It's okay. Don't worry about me. I'll be okay.
Honey, she says that, but I've never seen somebody cry so much in my life. Almost every day. I've already told her the effect stress can have on her children.
Yes, but honey, cut her some slack. It's natural to stress when someone you love dearly becomes extremely sick. You would be the same.
Okay, well, I'm just saying. She has to stay headstrong to be able to run her business, otherwise that will go bust. She cannot just go and cry in the corner whilst working. It looks so unprofessional for the business and to the customers. We cannot have a person like that associated with our family. We are business owners too.
Okay, honey. That's enough now.
She really has no idea. I'm trying to stay cool and be the bigger person. She makes me so angry. I won't lower myself to her level. I need to stay calm.
So, did I or did I not tell you that you cannot just keep crying like that?
What's your point?
Your legs looked fine to me yesterday. What is wrong with them now? You've done this to yourself. You've been spending more and more time with your friends lately, having them worrying about you and your depression. Now you've gone and hurt yourself. This wouldn't have happened had you have just stayed home. You have no idea what you are talking about. Did you just huff? What's with the sudden attitude?
This is my first time experiencing death in the family, so I am not dealing with it well. You've obviously experienced it enough by now to know how to deal with it. I'm still learning how to deal with my emotions. They say time is medicine, but for me, the more days that go by, the harder it seems to get. It's like a never-ending nightmare. You think I'm playing up to my emotions and just hanging out with my friends for the sake of it?
Then what is it? Have you done that to your leg?
My leg? I slipped in the park opposite our house. I took our son to the park and then happened to slip when catching him at the bottom of the slide. So please stop assuming stuff in your head.
Well, that's just silly, isn't it? Do other mothers hurt themselves in the park? No, they don't. So how have you managed to do that? I've lived way longer than you. Do you think you know more than me? As you know, I'm in the middle of sorting out your sister-in-law's wedding. I really don't have the time to worry about you on top of everything else.
Please, there is no need for you to worry about Sophia. I'm her mother and I'm taking good care of her. We are lucky she isn't severely hurt.
She needs surgery! How is that not severe? I don't see any positives in this situation, so I have every right to be annoyed.
She has just torn the muscles in her foot. The original plan was to have surgery to fix it, but Sophia decided to go the non-surgical route and live in a foot cast for 7 weeks. We just have to be extra careful to help aid the healing process.
7 weeks? How are you going to get about in a cast? Shouldn't you really be resting in the hospital? That way the process may be faster. How are you supposed to do your house chores if you're in a cast? What a convenience, I only live in the neighborhood over from them. It will be me stuck looking after the kids. Only 4 and 2 years old. What am I supposed to do? This whole situation is ridiculous. The last thing we needed. I am too busy sorting out a marriage for my daughter. I have enough on my plate. Everything is so stressful. I've spent so much money on this wedding. I don't have the time to help out with this situation, too. It's okay for Jane. She just sits in the house all day doing nothing. Some of us are too busy for our own good. My main priority at the moment is preparing for this hectic wedding. Now I have to worry about my son and grandchildren on top of that, since their mother is too sick to look after them.
Seriously, you don't have to worry. Get on with sorting your daughter's wedding. I will take care of Sophia. She will be back to full health in no time.
What about your family business? Who will run it?
I've decided to close the business down.
How are you going to cope if you aren't making money from the business?
You really don't have to worry about all of that. It is my problem and my business.
Why shouldn't I worry? We are family. You are my in-laws, and it also affects my son. Of course I'll worry.
Okay, if you must know. I decided to retire early. Now please, stop stressing.
Ah, retire early. I wish I could retire early. I just thought for a second it would be down to Ben to fund everything, so I was worried. He must have had a big insurance payout from James's work, since it was their fault his body became so weak. How awful, dying from cancer because you worked so hard your entire life. I'm assuming that is the money you are using to retire. It's only been 3 years since you opened your other business. There is no way you had earned enough profit to fund an early retirement. Something isn't adding up.
Anne, I definitely didn't collect any money from my husband's death. I was able to save enough money by helping out professors with their thesis research on the side of running a business. I also have worked very hard to be able to do this.
Anyway, nothing in your family has ever made sense to me. Your seemingly fine husband suddenly got severe cancer and passed away. Yet you are meant to be this perfect wife who was brought up so well and fed your husband the best foods. Surely then you would have known when to tell him enough was enough with work.
Anne, it was not sudden. He'd been sick for almost a year before he passed away. Cancer also runs in James's family, so there was not much we could do. Of course, work potentially played a part in triggering its onset.
Anyway, your husband was suffering from a disease he could not control, regardless of how careful he was in work. Yet your daughter then goes out and breaks her leg. Not even 3 months later, just by being careless. I've hurt my foot, not my whole leg.
To be honest, Anne, after losing James, I was just relieved it was only her foot that got hurt and it wasn't anything more serious. I can't risk losing anyone else in the family. I just want my family to be happy and healthy now. I've lived for 60 years, and that is all I wish for these days. I try live with that mindset. There is nothing positive in blaming people for things out of their control.
As expected, you always have the scholar answer to everything. I expected nothing else from the perfect wife. After all, you did graduate from a prestigious school and have royal ancestors. What was I expecting other than that answer? Excuse me, don't speak to my mom like that. I think it is time for you to leave. Even after all this time, she still is jealous of our family. She cannot get rid of this inferiority complex she has with my mom. Even though we are speaking to her calmly, adult to adult, she could not help but take things too far and just be outright nasty. Such a horrible woman. Could you repeat what you just said? I didn't hear you properly.
What? It's not like I said anything difficult. You couldn't hear me. I knew you hurt your foot, but I didn't realize that would affect your ears as well.
I wasn't sure if I heard you correctly.
So you did hear me? Then why should I repeat what I said?
Because I couldn't believe what I was hearing, so I asked you if you could repeat it before I responded.
I said, is it that much of an ask for you to prepare some food for Frank's birthday party?
It's not too much of an ask, but I am still in my leg cast. There isn't much I can do at the moment. Also, why do you need to have the party in our house?
Sophia, technology is great these days. You're able to order groceries for delivery. I even heard if you order by a certain time, they will deliver it by the next morning. How amazing is that? It isn't that hard. Your foot doesn't stop you from using your hands. No excuses.
Yes, of course I can order groceries to be delivered, but I won't be able to prepare the food as I am still in a leg cast.
So what if you are in a leg cast? When I was your age, I was able to wallpaper my sister's whole house whilst pregnant, as well as prepare all the food. I did it all by myself, whilst our husbands went out to work. You said you were supposed to be getting your cast off today or tomorrow, so you are almost healed. So why can't you do it? All you have to do is order the groceries to be delivered and then sit down in the kitchen and use your hands to prepare food.
I don't think I am able to do that. I will ruin everything.
You aren't making sense. You've always made food for us before. You have just gotten too comfortable having your mother live here, doing nothing all day and having her wait on you hand and foot.
Imagine your daughter had hurt her leg. You would act exactly how my mom is acting. She doesn't want to burden my husband with caring for me, as he also has the children to care for. I also don't want the children to worry about me and see me in pain constantly. So she is just trying to help me in the meantime, so I can regain the strength in my foot faster. That is the difference between you and my mom. She will go out of her way to help people in times of need, whereas you are selfish and just expect things done, regardless of a person's condition. You're only nice when you need something.
Your mother is helping people. She is making my son feel uncomfortable, all because you cannot stay out of trouble. Just because she is taking care of you doesn't mean she has to move into the house and live with you. Also, it is your duty as a daughter-in-law to organize your father-in-law's birthday party. Because of COVID, we are banned from eating out in a restaurant. We have no choice but to hold the birthday party in your home. Not that we wanted to either. Unless you have any other suggestions, since you are so smart.
But why is it just my responsibility to organize his birthday party? What about everyone else? What about you? Whatever way you look at it, it isn't just my responsibility. It is more yours. I would take responsibility if it was my husband's birthday. But my father-in-law's? Sorry, but I don't think that is my responsibility.
I'm obviously too busy sorting stuff, such as my daughter's wedding. Hence why I'm asking you to organize it. If I was sat at home doing nothing all day, do you really think I would have asked you to help out? No! Your sister-in-law's wedding is only in a few weeks, and I am stressed trying to organize it. I have no time. It's not like I am asking you to go and farm the food yourself. I just want you to prepare some sort of buffet food. I'm not really asking you for a lot. I thought your mom of such prestigious education would have taught you better than this.
Anne, if my leg wasn't in a cast and my foot was perfectly normal, of course I would have helped out.
It's been 5 weeks since you've had your cast on, so it's due off soon. You seem to be walking a lot better these days than before. The problem with you is that you're so stubborn and will not try. All I am asking is for you to try prepare some food. If you realize you cannot whilst doing it, I will understand. But you won't even try. Even if you just make a cake, at least you tried. It's the effort that counts, isn't it? Your hands work perfectly fine, so there is no excuse for you not to even try.
If I move around, she has to help me. On top of that, she will want to help prepare the food. She already has enough on her plate. Therefore, I do not want to add more to it.
Even if you don't want to do it, you will have to.
Due to the current situation, you will have to help out. There is no negotiating. Or do I have to explain the situation to you again? You are acting like I have asked you to run a race, when all I have asked is for you to help to organize your father-in-law's birthday party. If it was me, I would have just tried to help out, regardless of my physical condition. Mom, what are you doing?
Anne was right. As a daughter-in-law, you really should help prepare the food. Plus, me just sitting around and not helping makes me look like a bad mum.
So that's why you went out early grocery shopping? Have you spent all morning doing this? Mom, you should have left me to it. I can go buy some pre-made food from the store.
Don't worry about it. It is better to just prepare the food fresh than go buy it pre-made from a store. At least it looks like you've made an effort.
When did you order all this to be delivered?
Last night. It was way easier than going to buy them from the store directly. There's way more choice online.
Mom, I've never tried this before. What is it?
Why are you acting like you have never eaten that before? You ate at Lowe's as a little kid.
Ah, that is right. It is that expensive food we used to eat now and again. What was it called again? Caviar?
Yes, you are right. We weren't able to eat it that often.
Caviar, smoked salmon, beef brisket, chicken. Why have you made so much expensive food? Our in-laws didn't grow up with this kind of food. Do you think they have ever tried it? They probably won't even know what half of it is.
Exactly. That is why I decided to prepare it. It gives them no reason to complain.
Even truffle pasta? Really?
Yes, truffle is my favorite, of course.
Is this it? I know truffle pasta when I smell it.
It looks better just preparing a few expensive dishes over lots of cheap-to-make recipes. They simply cannot complain.
Mom, I'm sorry. You are constantly busy because of me.
Please don't be sorry. I'm sorry for having to be a burden to you and Ben by staying here.
Mom, you are just helping look after me. Please don't think you are a burden to us. We have just lost Dad and are having to deal with that alongside you having to look after me and my leg. Even cooking for my father-in-law's birthday party on top. It is me who is sorry, Mom. She shouldn't be making people feel even worse than they are already feeling.
She's just your average human. Someone who thinks and puts themselves first before anybody else. If she wants to think about me and consider our situation, that would have been more strange. We cannot lower ourselves to someone like that standards. So just do as she says and give her nothing to complain about.
The food looks so neat and pretty, I'm afraid to even touch it. But after trying it, I must say, it tastes amazing.
Thank you, Frank. I appreciate it.
Jane, come sit down and stop fussing. Come eat with the rest of us.
Anne, it's okay. Please enjoy the food. I'm okay.
We will wait until you're ready to come before we continue eating. It's only right. I feel bad that we started eating first.
Jane, come on! I need someone to cheers my drink with.
Have a cheers with your husband.
She is clearly too busy to have a drink with me. Come on, I am waiting. I don't want to drink by myself.
Honey, I think you have already drunk enough alcohol for today. I think it's time to stop now, don't you?
I'm fine. I've hardly drunk much. Leave me to it.
Hardly drunk much. You have drunk more than enough. Look at how you are behaving. Stop now.
Mom, let me do it. Come sit down and have some food before it goes cold.
Jane, you really knocked it out of the park with the food. You really didn't have to go to this much trouble for my father's birthday. I'll do the cleaning up. Please sit down and enjoy yourself. Eat something. I finished eating anyway, so I'll finish the dishes. Just leave them there.
Ben, it's honestly okay. I'm not hungry. Usually I can't stomach eating my own cooking, as I get full from the smell whilst preparing it.
You don't have to eat anything. Just come sit down with the rest of us. Rest for a second. You deserve it. Why don't you try have some of my birthday cake? Since you didn't make it yourself, you should be okay.
Yes, you are right. I'll try eat a slice of cake, if you don't mind. Also, try some of this wine. It's been aging for a while. Delicious. Here, I'll pour you a glass.
Honey, my glass is also empty. Pour me some too, please.
No, you need to stop drinking. I thought you would stick to the same amount you drunk during the initial parents' meeting. Here, give me a glass, Jane.
Honestly, I'm okay. I don't drink wine too often. You'll make me look bad drinking all by myself. It's manners to have a glass with your in-laws. At least have one drink so I don't feel lonely. If that is the case, then okay. I'll have one and that's it.
Jane, how on earth do you remember all these recipes? Who taught you how to cook like this? This is restaurant standard quality.
I learnt all the recipes from my late grandmother. I used to help her out in the kitchen as a little girl. She used to make them on special occasions, like for birthdays or weddings. My grandma made me a recipe book to keep, since I enjoyed helping her so much. It keeps the tradition in the family.
Ah, really? Then I'm assuming you have tried all sorts of British cuisine foods?
Yes, you could say that. Although they don't all taste good. You would be surprised at how many different recipes there are.
The perks of having a British ancestry.
So what? What is so good about having British ancestors? She even said half of the food doesn't taste good.
Oh, please, just stop. I am only being nice. Of course it is nice that they know so much about their ancestors and family history. I'm just interested, Anne. That's all.
Yes, but what is so special about it? So many Americans have British ancestors.
Honey, stop it.
If their family had such special genes, her husband would have lived longer. I'm sorry, but there is nothing special or royal about a widow. And I'm not just saying this because I've had a few drinks.
Mom, enough with the drink now. Stop it. You have clearly had enough.
So special that at the grand age of 60, she is still having to stay in her daughter's home, running my son's married life. She ought to be embarrassed, that's what. I told you, she's only staying for a while until my leg is fully healed. It's not the case that she's moved in for good. You knew that, so stop spreading lies. Anyway, I'm just saying, clearly there is no advantage to being born into a prestigious family. So what if you're highly educated? What benefit has it given you?
Anne, look at me right now. Stop it, or you will have to go home. Apologize immediately.
Why should I stop? Stop, let go of my arm. Get your hands off me. Listen here, I'm not of a prestigious background, but at least I still have my husband living next to me. At least I don't have to worry about being a burden to my children. Yet you, widowed, are walking around like you're the bee's knees. Who prepares royal British cuisine for a birthday party? You were just trying to show off. You know what you were doing. All you needed to prepare was a regular buffet, but you had to remind everyone again about how wealthy you are. I don't care how drunk you are. The way you are behaving and speaking is out of order. Are you not embarrassed? Embarrassed? Why should I be embarrassed? Am I the one who is currently living in her daughter's house?
Mom, stop it. Please, you are embarrassing me. Right, get up. We are leaving.
Look at how your daughter is speaking to her elders. Embarrassed? What do I have to be embarrassed about? Is this the way you brought her up to speak to people? Is this the royal way of talking? At least I can say that in my 60 years of living, I have never gotten so drunk that I couldn't control what I was saying. I can also say that I have never seen someone of our age behave like this either. And the fact that person is my daughter's mother-in-law is just disgraceful. Say that again! Frank, I think Anne has said enough. She clearly has a problem that she needs to fix. Alcohol clearly makes her true colors show. One would think it is just because of the alcohol, but having known Anne for a while now, it is clear she's just a horrible individual from the core. There is nothing wrong with me. I am not a horrible person. The day after Frank's birthday, my mother moved back into her own house. I also decided to not stay in contact with my mother-in-law from that day forward. The good thing that has come from this is that I am now free from participating in any family holidays and having to prepare for any birthday parties in the future. Even during my sister-in-law's wedding, I didn't have to even look in her direction. I will never forget how she treated my mom that day. Sophia, how have you been? I mean, I've been okay. What about you? Having a hard time? Yes, COVID has been worse than we expected. Julie is bedbound with it. Little Annabelle has really grown a lot since I last saw her. She will be walking before you know it. It's been so tiring trying to help look after her for Julie, since she is so sick. You must be such a burden to Julie and her husband, since you are staying there with her helping to look after the baby while she is sick. Why couldn't her husband's parents have helped? What bad in-laws. I refuse to send Annabelle to her other grandparents' house. She is under better care with me. They are too busy stressing about catching corona off us, so we'll not take her into their care anyway. So it came down to me. Karma is real. What do you mean, karma? Well, it's not like anyone is asking you to do much. All you have to do is use your hands to make food for the family and Annabelle once or twice a day. Is that too much to do? Your hands are working, aren't they? You've only had 2 children, yet you are talking like you know it all. Wait until you are my age and have to do the same thing. Then you will understand. Well, good job I only had 2 sons. So I will never be a burden to my daughter and her children. Unlike you. Look at you trying to use my own words against me. This situation is very different, so don't try that with me. This is way more difficult. I'm still suffering from the after effects from when I had COVID. Trying to look after a newborn and Julie at the same time. I'm exhausted. All whilst barely being able to breathe from wearing a mask. You look fine to me. Julie is way more sick, so I guess it's you who has to suck it up. Who else will do it if you don't? Exactly, so I'm doing it, even though I could die from exhaustion. Stop throwing things around. You will just end up hurting someone.
That's the whole purpose of me throwing it.
Stop it. Don't be silly now, Frank.
She is an alcoholic. Just doesn't know when to stop drinking. I'm sick of it. You're supposed to be helping to look after Annabelle and Julia, but instead have been drinking. I could smell it on you last night. You get yourself into such a drunken state then expect to come home at God knows what time. How did you expect me to sleep?
You're the one who told me not to come home. That you had work in the morning and didn't want me coming back late. You are being so stubborn. What was I supposed to do?
There you go with the excuses again.
I'm just saying. That is why I slept in Janet's house. You told me not to come home.
You shouldn't have drunk that much in the first place. Do you think I should praise you and act fine just because you listened to me and didn't come home? Leave. Just get out of my sight. I'm sick of you.
Frank, come on, don't be like that. Where was she supposed to sleep? In an alley? She has nowhere to go if you just kick her out.
That is down to her. Did she really think I would put up with this for the rest of my life? It is getting way too out of hand. The alcoholic wife who scares off the in-laws, who causes family feuds. I'm sorry, but I can't bear to live with her any longer. So please leave. Get out of this house immediately.
At the end of it all, Anne was known as the woman who lived to just give others around her a hard time. Be that her husband Frank, me, or my mother. Me and Ben still refuse to speak to her. We try to be civil, though, for the sake of her grandchildren. We still continue to have a flourishing relationship with Frank, my father-in-law, and visit each other often. I wonder how Anne is feeling now, after her husband divorced her and her daughter, Julie's husband, passed away. Being left to look after Annabelle, whilst Julie goes out to work to earn money, I wouldn't be surprised if she is depressed. I heard the 3 of them moved out of town and are currently living together in a small apartment, struggling to get by. They do say that if you are ugly on the inside, it will eventually show on the outside. Karma is real, and Anne has learned her lesson.